Elections for the makeup of the next student government representatives will soon be underway when students return from spring break.
Joining us now in studio to discuss is SGA Student Body President Jack Corby. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
So Jack, the elections start March 28th, right? So can you talk us through just what the process for elections look like?
Totally. So the election packet to run for any open SGA position, which is in the Senate, the Finance Board, or the Judicial Branch, is open right now. Students have until March 21st at 5 p.m. to submit the packet. They can choose one position to run for, and then there's a week of campaigning, and then about 36 hours of elections, opening 8 a.m. on the 28th and closing at 6 p.m. on the 29th.
Okay, and why should students vote in these elections? Why should they care?
Totally. Well, you elect your representatives. So at the Senate level, you elect the people that will work on legislation for you, work on different class events in correlation with other student organizations on campus. Judicial, you elect to work people that will see different things with student organizations and within the honor board. And then overall with the administrative officers, you work on the people that will speak to senior staff and to work to fund different student organizations and things like that. So we have a large say in what goes on campus, I feel like. So having students have their voices heard is a big part of that process.
And ELN was at last week's SGA meeting where a pay raise was announced for next year's SGA Executive Board to $8,000 stipend for the year. And we were able to talk to some students afterwards and we got their reactions to that.
Okay. And here's what students have to say. Let's take a look at it.
It's pretty surprising. It seems like a really big increase from what it was, and I just wonder where the money is coming from and what it could be like otherwise used for.
I think it's great if people are getting paid more. I don't see any issue with that as long as there's, I don't know any like negative impacts to that, so I don't have a problem with it.
I feel like it's reasonable and it's a good thing for them to increase after all the work they do on campus and everything.
I don't necessarily see SGA's involvement on campus enough to warrant them getting paid more than the average student worker. I'd like to see them more on campus because of how much they're getting paid. I think they could use that to sort of like spread awareness for what they're doing, kind of make themselves more known on campus.
And could you just clarify where this money is coming from and why it's happening in the first place?
Totally, yeah. So just to clarify, the raise is only for the 4 administrative officers. So the student body president, the vice president of finance, the vice president of communications, and then the speaker of the Senate. So not everyone in SGA is paid. It's just the 4 top level executive officers. The stipend does come from the student activity fee allocation that SGA receives on an annual basis. And the raise is coming just after different things going on campus. It's only been raised once since 2001. So it's just keeping up with inflation. It's keeping up with the work students do on campus. Also, we really thought that with the raise of the stipends coming in, the 4 executive officers would be able to focus in a little bit more on SGA. Over the past couple of years, the executive officers like myself have held other jobs on campus, which I've been able to manage, but being able to dive more into SGA and really devote more time to the organization, we thought would make it worth it.
And thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you, Jack, for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course.